Of what use is a woman if she cannot be caring, supportive, loyal, and persevering? Men have it extremely hard, for barely anyone cares about how we fare. Thus, our only consolation and hope is a good wife. When a man loses or leaves his mother, his first love, he looks to his wife to be his new mother. He desires silently for his woman to treat him like a little boy, in private, as his mother would, especially when he is broken and or in a perplexed situation, while still honoring him as the man, both in secret and in public, submitting to his position as head. In reality, feminine and caring women are not only greatly desired by men, but are very much in control, influencing heavily his final resolve in almost all affairs, as they can sway a man to do almost anything in gentleness and in softness of love, coupled with soothing words that lift the spirit and cheer up the countenance, a powerful tool that can be both used for good and evil. But this draft is obviously focused on the good. To be hot isn't a woman's place. Neither was that the purpose or trait nature intended for her. It is a man's. A woman's true power can be likened to the sweet satisfaction of berries to a hungry soul, and the cool of ice in a warm weather, to sweeten a vexed soul, and to quench the heat of rage, eradicating pain and suffering from the heart and mind of a man, and healing his bones. Peace is sweet, so why war with the man? Also, a hostile environment impacts both parties negatively. Peace is all that he seeks, so why not give it to him? Why be frantic, fighting him at every turn, when you can make him glad and have him trust you with his life? Isn't that true power? Isn't that what you seek, O woman? What more could a woman wish or desire from a man? Seeking this power via confrontation only awakens a man's egoistic God and inflames him severely, for he will naturally oppose any sort of contestation of his God-given, thus natural position as head. As a woman, you may eventually get this power forcefully, but prepare to be replaced by another who is quiet and peaceful, for he will grow tired of you over time, and one day will boldly dismiss you, absent care or concern, not thought for your emotions. What happened to you, woman? Why have you decided to bring into your peace, to consume the forbidden fruit of chaos again? Why has the devil swayed you to war with your protector and shield? With the recent global events, a watchman can without doubt see that destruction and war are imminent. If you continue to hurt or put your man away, who shall then protect you when civilization that comes with protective laws comes tumbling down in chaos? Who shall be your first and only natural line of defense, one whose biology is programmed ready to give his life for you and his children in battle, as this is the true nature of a man? You are only comfortable now in this wickedness, for the modern women of today who constitute the majority are very short-sighted because of the present similitude of peace and orderliness in society. But a time shall come where the insensitive, selfish, and or wicked women that have chosen this evil notion of modern independence that makes them to care less about a man, or to destroy their man by shutting him away or pushing him unjustly with the force of the law, that is all time irrationally favorable to the women's side. Even worse, raising a man's kids with lies that move them against him. Watch, for you shall weep in regret and pain when you will be alone and defenseless, and when the children, particularly the boys, you poorly raised against their fathers, shall become highly unruly and uncontrollable, and thus shall rise against you in great disregard. Then and there shall be your judgment in your fullness of age, for the sins you had sown in your youth. Nullified arguments. You say the man you are with does not deserve your care or submission, but you chose him. You say there are bad men, and you are right about that, just as there are bad women. So why not choose right? After all, it is a responsibility that you are in control of. The fact of the matter is, men generally appreciate feminine, submissive, and loving women. But ill-trained men will often stem from heavily protective single mothers that spoil them, aren't trained to respect such virtues, not to be mature in manliness, as they are primarily impacted feminine traits, absent education in responsibilities, taking charge, and the realities of life, and are thus incapable of showing or paying such appreciations as a real or fully formed man would, that was tutored by a father. A man raised with feminine imbibed traits is like putting unstable emotions in a war machine. If the software switches to overdrive, with that might in his hands, by virtue of his gender, who shall stop him? When his ego is tested by a woman, he shall surely react and strike, uttering unmanly words that shouldn't be said, coupled with childish reactions that should never be exhibited by a true man. Although the submissive and motherly-like woman is appreciated by all men, do note that the response or appreciative feedback varies between that of the truly manly man and the feminine emotional man. The former replies with respect and carefulness not to offend his queen, whereas the latter will feed to nourish his ego, pride, and confidence to abuse further, rather than being appreciatively humbled. Although there are positives in dealing with these two types of men in love and submission, but with the feminine emotional man, a woman finds herself investing more or heavily, but with little and stressful returns. Take care not to misconstrue the statement as allowance to act subjectively with respect to the aforementioned standard, for it is a divine law of peace in a union, but the only difference is that the yield varies if truly applied with respect to the man you are with. But it works nonetheless, and such submissive and feminine attributes in a woman are greatly aspired and valued. There is a reason why a woman, a highly emotional and thus unstable being, dislikes emotional men, and this phenomenon isn't far from the science of magnetism, hence attraction on this note. For a man raised emotional as a woman is technically a woman by virtue of the prominent traits and attributes grossly exhibited. So as with magnets, like poles shall always repel, thus conflict shall always arise. But the standard of femininity still remains, and this is why it behooves the woman to choose right, accepting the advances of a real man that is matching to her being. When she does, she shall find ease in her role absent struggle or turbulence. Understand that if there isn't a party that primarily represents maturity in unions, the structure won't hold for long, as this is naturally a real man's place. Thus, women, especially the ones who complain about how bad men are, should take to raising their sons to be better and complete men. A logically impossible task without a father figure, or a responsible and or mature man that is well invested in a boy's life, especially during his formative age, absent restraint when discipline is required at any point in the rearing process, which is a major default single mothers tend to have, even after being lucky enough to find a man loving and gracious enough to settle with them and readiness to father another man's child.